friends and fantasy fanatics alike. This is how you're coming to you. Real quick video. I just want to talk about Riftborn a little bit, and for all of you that are patrons already or people that are considering becoming a patron of mine, here's just a little bit of insight. I know I've talked about Riftborn a lot. You've seen it probably from me on social media. You've probably seen it mentioned here on Patreon a lot as well. Basically, Riftborn, in a nutshell, in the most simplified way to say it, is a really massive project I'm taking on. This is the biggest undertaking I've ever done, and that's saying quite a bit for me, considering that my Beating Back the Darkness series, which is my core series at the moment, the first two books in that are, each 400 and 600 pages at the moment, and I think I'm looking at probably another two full-length novels in that series, maybe more. So we're talking, probably another, 1,000+ pages in that series right there. So we're going to have thousands of pages in that series before that's done. I think Riftborn is going to be an even more ambitious project, and I can't go into a whole lot of it, but here's just a little bit of why. So what Riftborn is an idea that I've been toying around with now for, oh goodness, it's been months, and I didn't really know how I would do it, how I would make it happen, or really where I wanted to go with it. But basically what I wanted to do is I wanted to create something that is much bigger than just myself. And I thought about whether I could do this in my Beating Back the Darkness world, but it's really, the writing was never set up that way, the world building was never set up that way, and honestly, that's my baby. That project is something that I really don't want to collaborate with other authors. But Riftborn is a completely different animal, and it was designed from the ground up in order to do just that. So Riftborn is what we typically in the industry call either a shared world or a shared universe. And what that is, it's basically what you see with different book series or intellectual property, where you have something like the Forgotten Realms, Dragonlance, even let's think Warhammer, whether it's fantasy or Warhammer 40K. You have it in World of Warcraft, you have it in Diablo, many other intellectual properties out there, even Star Wars for our science fiction fans out there. These are all intellectual properties that are worlds with certain laws and characters and histories, and many other people contribute to the stories within that universe. So it's a really awesome concept. It's a very effective concept if you take the time to go through and build it out correctly. That's what my vision is for Riftborn. My vision for Riftborn is for it to be an intellectual property, a work, a product, a brand, even if you will, similar to Dragonlance or the Forgotten Realms. So what I'm working on is I'm working on the first books in that universe. It's a brand new universe that is completely separate from any of my other works. At this point, I've been doing a lot of world building, a lot of creating the setting and the world and the magic and all the different laws and races and stuff like that. And basically, think of it like a pie. I am going to go ahead and start out with an initial series, probably 3 books, and that's basically going to be like a slice of pie. It's going to be some epic stories in terms of the sense of just sheer awesomeness and scope of what's going on, but in the genre world, it's probably would actually be considered sword and sorcery rather than epic, because in epic fantasy, that in kind of the classical definitions of epic fantasy, means that the heroes are off to save the world from ending by the big bad guys, whatever that is. Sword and sorcery is more of a more localized conflict. The story is more about what these specific characters are going through, rather than the entire fate of the world or the universe being in their hands. It's really about their problem, their world being turned upside down, rather than the entire existence of humanity is at risk or something like that. So the scope and the scale are different. So I think that the way that I'm approaching Riftborn is that as I write these books, we're going to get a very close, a very narrowed and intimate focus on a cast of a few characters, and as they go through their world and their world is upended, typically like localized regional type conflicts or problems or dilemmas, whatever it is, and then I can tell that whole story through those characters' eyes in a very intimate way, and you get to experience the world from their perspective. But then what that does is, as you write from that perspective, like in the Forgotten Realms, like the Drizzt books in the Dark Elf trilogy, where you get to experience the Underdark and Drizzt's life and all the world from his perspective, you get a very narrow sliver of the Forgotten Realms universe. You get Drizzt's perspective, the Dark Elf perspective. And that's fantastic. So that's the same approach that we're doing in Riftborn. And what that does is that leaves so much opportunity for collaboration, so much room for other fantastic authors and artists to partner with me and join in to help create one of the most robust, most exciting, and fantastical worlds that you've ever read about, you've ever heard about, or you've ever seen visually. And that's really what we're doing here. So this is a project that I'm working on myself right now. I do have a kind of a team of collaborators that I bounce a lot of ideas with back and forth. I'm going to not say any of those names right now, but they're helping me with a lot of ideas and kind of just thinking things out loud. And the great news is that as this thing gets rolling, I have a handful of authors who are already very, very interested in writing in this universe, understanding how it works, understanding the laws, understanding the rules, and then being given the reins to tell their own story in this world. It's really, really exciting. I can't share names of anybody. It's too early in the process, and we're not even to the point of contracts and stuff like that, but it's really exciting. And I think there's some names that are going to not only impress, but surprise a lot of people. And I have a short but very well curated list of people that I can't wait to, approach and see if this is a fit for them. But this is going to be huge. It's not a quick project. It's not a fast project. The books that I'm writing may be produced rapidly, but this is a massive undertaking that I don't really ever see a finish line for. So as far as my role in Riftborn right now, I am starting off an initial series that I don't have a title for the first book right now, but I am steamrolling through that first book. It's going incredibly well. At this point, I've already written over 18,000 words, I think, at this point, or by the end of tonight, it'll be over 18,000 words in that first story. I'm expecting kind of my loose targets are that the first book is somewhere between 50 and 60,000 words. So I'm almost a third of the way done in that first book already. And the reason I'm going for a smaller word count is because though I've written the bigger epics like Dragon's Fire and The Halls of the Fallen King, it just takes a long time to do them. It takes a long time to revise them and to edit them and to produce them. The thought process here is that if I'm able to do a book that is half the size, that'll still be around a 200-page full novel, I can produce them twice as fast. And I think it kind of fits with the narrative and the sword and sorcery genre. I think it's probably the right size. So that's what I'm looking at right now. I'm cranking through this first book. I'm thinking it'll be at least a 3-book series, so it'll be coming out with a trilogy. I'm hoping that I can actually get all 3 of them written this year. And if I can go faster, then I'm going to go faster. I want to do it well. I want to get them edited well, but that's my goal, is to really crank out these first 3 books. Basically, just to give a little brief sneak peek without going into too much detail, what we're looking at here in this first book series is we have a couple characters that we're focusing closely on. We have Basine, and she is this uptight, pious, self-righteous warden. And what a warden is in this universe, a warden is like a magic wielding Templar, if you will, who has the sole purpose of leading people to the light, but also to guard the world from demonic invasion, which is pretty crucial in this world that we're set in. So she is off on a mission to discover the whereabouts of a fellow Templar and his company who have gone missing, and she's attacked by a demon, and she gets absolutely thrashed. So she finds out real quickly that she's a little bit over her head and she's going to need some help. Um, so that's where she meets her first teammate, her first partner in crime. I'll leave the individual's name out for spoilers, but this individual is what is often called a bounty hunter or a rift hunter. And basically, what you have, there are actually two different distinctions, but a bounty hunter is exactly what the name implies. A rift hunter is something a little bit different and a little bit more someone who specializes specifically in chasing down rifts and hunting demons and slaying demons. So they are a perfectly odd couple, totally mismatched, and they are forced to work together to uncover the mysteries of what the heck is going on. How do they stop this demonic invasion that's just about ready to just go crazy? And what happened to this missing Templar? So that's kind of the premise for the first book in the series, and everything is all gonna connect off that. Each book will be its own story, but the whole series will connect for a larger story, of course, which is kind of typical with my work. And that's the very basics without going into any more. It's going to be a lot of fun. If you're trying to kind of picture the theme and the tone of the work, we're talking, playing heavily on my experience as a gamer, thinking very much Diablo and Warhammer-esque feel in terms of the darkness and the tone, in terms of the world. It's a rough world. It's not peaceful. It's not easy. It's very dangerous. It's fraught with danger at every corner. There's dragons, there's mythical beasts, there's giants, there's all kinds of different races and wild and crazy magics, which are, there is rules in place, but a lot of those rules are not known and misunderstood. So it's going to be a fun, wild, hectic ride, very up close and personal with these characters, very intimate, but just brutal, and a very savage world. So really excited about it, really excited to get that out to you. What I'm doing for my patrons, those who have joined my army and help partner with me so I can continue to make these works, is I'm going to be providing, and I already have been, but I will continue to provide updates on the progress, my word trackers, my count trackers, so they can see my productivity each and every day, snapshots of the different chapters, my Scrivener projects, kind of where I'm at there. There will be times where I pose questions, and anybody who wants to participate can either answer those questions or there's those polls. Certain times there may be points where I have two different options. I'm at a juncture in the story or with a character, and they will actually get to participate with some of that. So a little bit of a, determine your own story type of thing going on. So a lot of different things. Also artwork as I develop the branding, logos, images, character sketches, stuff like that. Some of that's going to take time, but as those come up, they will get sneak peeks, first shot of that. I'm also working on getting software on my computer, and also need to get my computer updated. I'm getting a new computer in the next couple months. That'll help with some of this, but I'm going to start doing a lot of video capture recordings of my work. So what I'm actually going to do is look at doing some like time-lapse videos of me actually writing from scratch in the raw, completely unfiltered, completely unedited. And so there will be snapshots of that where behind the scenes people will be able to see me literally typing away keystroke for keystroke. And I don't know, I guess that's things that some people actually want to see. They want to be close to that creative process, that really raw and unfiltered, and I'm happy to share that. If you guys and gals are willing to help partner with me to support the creation of the arts, I'm absolutely happy to give you that full access, behind the scenes look at it. So I mean, it's a pleasure and a privilege to me, so I'm happy to do that. So that's kind of just a quick update on Riftborn, and the first series that I'm working on in Riftborn. There's going to be more details to come, but those videos are going to be exclusive for patrons, for my supporters. So this is a public video, so if you want more details, if you want more in depth and want to get to know more about the world or the stories, I'd love to discuss that. but you're gonna have to join the army, partner with me. All right. Thank you all so much. Have a great day.